Hey, welcome. This is just a quick video to let you know that I have a free perspective brush set on Gumroad. The link will be in the description. I just want to go over how I use them. It's mostly obvious. There are just a few things that I think might be helpful. So the first brush is this 1-point perspective brush, and the main highlight of the whole video really is this works best if you make sure it's all on the canvas when you stamp it. You can change the size in the brush settings or just use the square bracket keys, but if it's all on the canvas when you stamp it, then your vanishing point will be in the same spot as the transform tool's anchor point. So as you transform in various ways, move it off the canvas, you'll know exactly where your vanishing point is. If you stamp it partly off the canvas, you can see that it gets cropped, and then as you transform, you can't predict where the vanishing point is, which might not be a huge deal for people. I'm just letting you know. So I tend to make it large, and if you're on the arrow tool, which is V, and you hold down Alt and drag, you make a second one. Shift will keep it aligned horizontally, and then you get a second vanishing point aligned on the same horizon line. The Alt copy thing we did makes a new layer, so each VP is now on its own layer. Now Photoshop keeps track of everything off the canvas, and these can get pretty huge, so you can end up with a huge file size. So what I tend to do is, once I have my perspective figured out, I merge the perspective layers, Control A to select the whole canvas, and then Control J to copy the selection onto a new layer. Then I delete the first layer, which is the full size one. The new layer is effectively cropped, so we've now lost the actual vanishing points, but it'll make the file size smaller. If you're worried about losing where your vanishing points were, when you still have the separate layers, transform them. The anchor point is at our vanishing point, so bring some guidelines over. To do that, Control R to bring up the ruler, and then click and drag on the ruler to bring it over to where you need it. Control and semicolon show and hide the guidelines. So now we have a record of where our vanishing points are. Then we have horizontal lines and vertical lines, which can also help with 1-point perspective, but here's how I normally use these. Stamp the horizontal lines, and then using transform and distort them into some sort of perspective. Now copy that with the Alt drag again, transform and flip it horizontally. And then we have a more sort of cropped in version of 2-point perspective. I like to use this for, say, prop sketches where I don't need an actual vanishing point. If you make these small, you can set up a page of little perspectives to sketch a bunch of little props. You can also do something similar, but if you just rotate the horizontal lines and don't distort, this will keep the lines parallel, and then you've got an easy isometric perspective. If you use the 1 vanishing point brush and then duplicate for 2-point, and then add the vertical lines, again transform and distort those, we have an easy 3-point perspective. Or you could use the 1 vanishing point 3 times if you wanted. So those are the brushes based on Jonas's brushes, and that's how I use those. And then I included a 5-point perspective brush for fisheye and curvilinear grids. This normally gets cropped, but I use it in much the same way as the 1-point perspective brush. Curvilinear doesn't necessarily need to be a perfect circle grid, so I'll stretch this any which way. And this gets pretty big, so I'll delete what I don't need, same as I did before. Then I included some composition brushes, just in case people find them helpful. So there's the golden ratio brush, and then there's a few different composition brushes. I don't know how helpful these will be, but people do composition breakdowns of paintings with these kinds of things, so I just turn them into brushes. Maybe one day I'll do a video trying to compose a painting to one of these grids. That might be kind of cool. Anyway, I hope that helps. I mostly want to warn people about the cropping thing and the huge file size when it comes to the 1-point vanishing point brush. Hope it helps, and have fun with them. Also, I have made this into brushes for Krita, so that should work as well. Also, the first 3 brushes are based off brushes by Jonas Zero, or maybe it's Jonas, not super sure on his preferred pronunciation. And even though his are free on DeviantArt, I don't want to give other people's work out for free, so I recreated them, but they are based on his, so shout out and credit to Jonas.